instance, let's go ahead and begin. Ah, right? So right here is I in the Paleo Hebrew. Let me write it off to the side. And that came from how a cow's head looks, right? You know what I'm saying? Like everything about our language is, you know what I'm saying, simple. You feel me? And whole time it's even slang. Like most words that are in Hebrew don't have just one meaning. A lot of words in Hebrew have more than one meaning. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, kazak. Let me write this a little bit better in the middle. Right? The word kazak in Hebrew can mean strong. You know what I'm saying? But it also can mean take to hold firm, or shemayim, which means waters in Hebrew. Shemayim, which means water, but it's also heavens. You feel me? Like our language is slang, and the origin of it, you know, comes from everyday things. Like our next letter, which is ba. You feel me? Which came from how a house is shaped, right? So once again, just so y'all know, this is a beginner's class. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? I'm getting our people more familiar with our alphabet. You know what I'm saying? And then instead of teaching the 100 common verbs, I may go over everyday phrases, just so you know what I'm saying. We can start putting sentences together. So that may be the next class for next week. But for now, you know what I'm saying, we got to crawl before we walk. Today is another beginner's class. You feel me? Because the sister had requested this, and you know what I'm saying, I do not mind going over it. So once again, our first letter is I, which is cattle. You know what I'm saying? It's in the shape of a cow's head, or it's similar. And ba is like a house. You know what I'm saying? Our next letter is da. Hey, KG, you might hit the air. Appreciate you, man. All right. So da, it's over there right by the Shamar table. Da is in the shape of a door. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a doorway to a tent, right? Okay. Ba, da, triple. We may go over the 100 common nouns today because, you know what I'm saying, this is a very simple lesson. All right, so far we have I, ba, da. You know what I'm saying? I, once again, is cattle. Ba comes from the shape of a house. Da comes from a door, or like the entrance to a tent. You know what I'm saying? Tents are generally rectangular in shape. You know what I'm saying? So this will be kind of like the entrance way to like a teepee. You feel me? So, you know what I'm saying? It's very similar to some of the uh, some of the letters that were in Native American written language. You know what I'm saying? These are some of the symbols that they found in America. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know that Native Americans are indeed God's chosen people. right? All right, so next we have God. Which came from the likeness of the shape of a camel, right? All right, next on this list is Wa. Oh, excuse me, Ha. Which came from a man praying. You know what I'm saying? All right. Y'all need a notebook, paper, or anything to write these down, or take a picture. You know what I'm saying? It's a very simple lesson. Once again, it's for beginners. It doesn't seem all that exciting at first, but you know what I'm saying? This is literally the language that was beaten out of our backs. You know what I'm saying? The same language that if we got caught speaking, that would cut our tongues out. You know what I'm saying? They'll brutalize us just for speaking our own tongue. You feel me? So here we are coming back to our language. You know what I'm saying? It's a slow walk, but it's a necessary walk. You see what I'm saying? Um, so I'm gonna give the people online a little bit more time to write it down. You know what I'm saying, or copy it, or if you would like, you know what I'm saying, just be kind of rewind. You feel me? I'm gonna give you about 5 more seconds, and then we gonna move on. All right. All right. So next on the list is what, which came from how a hook is shaped, right? Or something that is kind of like a lead for cattle. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of hook like. So you know what I'm saying, that they took that symbol, they took the likeness of a hook and made it into a letter. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know anything about Paleo, it's one of the oldest written written languages in history. You know what I'm saying? They deemed it a dead tongue. You know what I'm saying? They said that nobody could speak this language again, but here we are. You know what I'm saying? The Isupk, it took us being scholars and through our studies, you know what I'm saying, we revitalized our language. You know what I'm saying? So this right here is wild, which comes from the likeness of a hook, right? That is the Assyrian counterpart. All Assyrian is Hebrew that we got from the Assyrian captivity. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. These mean the exact same thing. Same thing for these. They all mean the same exact thing as as the top counterparts. You know what I'm saying? All right. So moving on, Za. Za. saying, or any kind of grain, you use a scythe. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what a scythe is, I'm gonna try my best to give you an example. You know what I'm saying? Something that is used in the field, or like a tool that is used to harvest. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we got the letter za from. All right. All right. So our next letter is cha. So in Hebrew, this is cha. You know what I'm saying? Not cha. So when you see this letter, it's kind of like you hocking up a loogie. It's pronounced cha, right? And it comes from the likeness of like a ladder, or something that is used to climb, right? So as you, if you wrote this down in your notes, you see that ha in the Assyrian looks like ha. The differences between those, ha has a open cap, and ha it is always closed, right? Same thing for later on when we go over the letter th. The always has a little cap mark, right? So you know the differences between ha, ha, and th, because they all look similar. You know what I'm saying? When you first learn how to read it, because on Saturdays we call people up to read. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people stumble over the similarities between ha, the, and ha. So real quick, we gonna go. I don't know why. I did that. All right. So next, all right. So ta is a circle with a X in the middle. It comes from marking a location or marking a certain spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say if you're traveling and you want to leave some kind of marker so that way we don't get lost, right? People would generally mark their spot. So that's where this comes from, and how you write it in the Syrian. All right. So the Assyrian is a little bit tricky, you know what I'm saying? But once you get it, you know what I'm saying, it gets easier the more you practice, you know what I'm saying, the more you show up to classes like this, so that way we can get familiar with our letters. All right. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to write this down. Pardon me for 1 second. y'all have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask. You know what I'm saying? Whatever topic you would like to go over, or just any general questions, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to ask throughout the class. You know what I'm saying? If there are any Bible scriptures that you want translated, you feel me? Just holler at me. You know what I'm saying? This is what we here for. All right. So next is Yah, which comes from the shape of a hand, right? All right. And so in Assyrian, it's a very small mark. For instance, I'm gonna write the Lord's name. Right? And so in Assyrian, it'll be written like this. You understand? That's how Yah is in the Assyrian. It's a very small mark, almost like an apostrophe. So Yah. Next letter is Ka. Right? Which is like the palm of your hand. You know what I'm saying? If you ever notice the palm of your hand, it has certain lines in it. That's where they got this from. All right. All right. So next, La. The letter La comes from, yeah, that's it. The letter La comes from like a staff, right? All right. It's a little tricky to write in the Assyrian, you know what I'm saying? But this is how it is written. All right. So moving on, Ma. And that comes from like a wave or water. And so the thing about Ma is it has two different variants, right? So the two different variants in the Assyrian, they still sound out the same. The only thing different about these two are locations, right? So come over here to the chart. Let's find Ma. Ma's right here. So the thing about this one goes at the beginning, anywhere but the end. You know what I'm saying? And this one goes strictly at the end of a word. You know what I'm saying? We may go over some words tonight, and you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna show y'all how to put this together and how it is how the proper locations of the different variants of Ma in the Assyrian. All right. So moving on to Na. So Na came from like a snake striking stance, right? So you ever seen a snake or a poisonous snake or something like that? It stands up, you feel me? And then it strikes, right? So this comes from a snake getting ready to strike. And just like Ma, um, it has two different variants in the Assyrian, right? So come on back over here to the chart. The same thing with Ma. The only thing different about them is location, right? So this one right here goes anywhere but the end of a word, and this one right here goes strictly at the end, right? So the short one goes anywhere but, and the long one goes strictly at the end of a word. You understand? So kind of like, let me give you an example. The shock, the name, the shock, right? What can I write this? All right, so na will be one of the letters that is used in the name the shock. So let me write this a little bit bigger. All right, so our letter right here, na. You see the short one is, all right. So real quick, I messed up. Lashawan Qadash Hebrew is written right to left, not left to right. You know what I'm saying? Unlike English, which is a backwards language, right? So we have na, sha, and qua. Na. We have the short variant of na, which is at the beginning. So the beginning of words in Hebrew start left. I mean, start right to left. You know what I'm saying? That's just an example. So if it was any other kind of way, or if it was another word that ended in na, then we would use this one, this variant, right? You get it? All right. Give y'all a couple of moments to write this down or take a picture. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever you need to do, and then we're gonna move on. Let me see if anybody's online. Shalom, Trooper Pop Waller, man. It's good to hear from you, brother. All right, no sweat. We're moving on. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right, no sweat. All right. So next, our letter is Sa, which comes from like a flag, right, or a support pole. Mm-hmm. Sa. It's it got the idea of the letter from like a flag or a support pole, right? Next I, right? So just so you know, there are no U's, no E's, no J's in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? So most of the vowels are sounded out as. Matter of fact, there are no vowels, but it is always sounded out as A's and I's. You feel me? So while you are reading or learning Lashawan Qadash, you know what I'm saying? You will learn that it has no other vowels in it, or there are no letters sounded out with E, I, or U. Excuse me, E, O, or any other vowel except for A and I, right? So that can the likeness of the letter I came from the I, right? So this right here is I in paleo, and it is circular, just like an eyeball, right? So that's I in Hebrew. Moving on to Pa. So Pa came from how a mouth looks, right? So Pa is actually mouth in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? It's written out a little different, PAH. But um, it's also where they got the likeness of one from for the letter, right? All right. So next, Tazah, and that came from how a cricket looks, right? All right. So just like Ma and Na, they have two different variants in the Assyrian, right? Both of them same functions. This variant goes anywhere but the end, and this one goes at the very end of a word, right? All right, so moving on to our next letter, which is Qua, which somehow got inspired by a monkey. All right, I'll give y'all a few minutes, a few seconds to write that down or take a picture. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna move on. Hey, can I get a time check? All right, appreciate you, man. All right, no sweat. Moving on. Like I said before, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I'm saying, getting familiar with getting familiar with the understanding on the origins of our language, of the letters of our language, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem very exciting at first, But rest assured, you feel me? It's very good to know where we got the inspiration for um the letters in our language from. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is just another beginner's class. You know what I'm saying? We may go into more depth later on, but for now, we're just gonna keep it plain and simple. You feel me? Trying to go ahead and get through this. All right. So next letter is Ra. Right? Look, kind of looks like the number four, but it is not. You know what I'm saying? This is Ra in Paleo. All right, and that got the inspiration from like a head, right? Okay. So next, we have the letter Sha, which kind of looks like a W, but it is not. You know what I'm saying? This is a language that precedes English. You feel me? So in our native tongue, this is a Sha. All right, and that took the likeness from a the root of a tooth. Right? Because if you ever pull somebody's tooth out, you know what I'm saying, especially like a wisdom tooth, it has these little legs at the bottom. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I can understand where they got the likeness of that from. All right. So in the Syrian, it's a bit tricky to write at first. You know what I'm saying? But with practice, you feel me? We begin to get a little bit better at it. All right. So next, last but not least, what I was talking about earlier, the, which looks like an X, right? But the difference is it's a long line and a short line that make up the letter the. And once again, that came from the likeness of a sign or a mark. Right? So once again, as I was saying earlier, the looks a lot similar to huh and huh. You understand? But the difference is one has a tail, one has an opening, and one is closed all the way. Right? So I'm gonna give y'all a few moments to write this down or take pictures. Let me see where we at with it. I right, no sweat. So we still got some time. All right. If you did not catch all that, just be kind and rewind. This is why we record all of our lessons for our learning and understanding, so that way we can come back and take advantage of it being recorded, and you know what I'm saying, catch anything that you may have missed. All right. So now that we are more familiar with our letters, or have some form of understanding about them, we're gonna get into 100 common verbs. All right. Does anybody know what a verb is? Don't know what a verb is? All right. No sweat. A verb is in action. You know what I'm saying? A word that describes a action. You know what I'm saying? We just got through with the 100 common nouns. You know what I'm saying? And a noun is a person, place, or thing. So now we are on verbs. Pull that up. All right, so where we left off last week, we left off at set apart, right? Which in Hebrew, does anybody happen to know what set apart is in Hebrew? Yeah, that's his hand. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, that's his hand. All right, so set apart in Hebrew is Qadash, which also means the book we read from. Holy, that's correct. All right. So let's take the Christian spookism off of the word holy. Holy, and it just means set apart. You know what I'm saying? Qadash. So let me write this down. I don't even need that. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's been a long day. All right. Okay. So this is our word right here. Qua, da, and sha. So how do we, matter of fact, so in paleo we have these things called connectors, right? The connectors are just guiders into helping us enunciate the word properly, right? So we have one that I named. You feel me? I don't know if it's the former name, but this is what I call them to help us remember them better. We have the bridge and the ditch, right? So when you see the bridge, that means that it is by itself. Right along, just for time's sake. And we have the ditch. When you see the ditch, that is what connects letters together, giving us a new conjugation, right? All right. For instance, we have Qadasha. How do we get Qadash, right? Qua will be by itself, and da and sha, they will be connected. Instead of it being Qadasha, I connected these two letters together, and it created a new sound. Dash, right? So now we have Qadash. So how do we write this in the Assyrian? It is no sweat, I will show you. All right, so do we have a level of understanding when it comes to the connectors? All right, no sweat, we're going to see. So our next word is rise. Does anybody know what rise is in Hebrew? You know what I'm saying? This is a part of our cadence. What's that? That's it. Or Quawam. All right. All right, so now we have our word, and we have it written in the paleo right here. How will we connect this? Qua, wa, ma. How will we make the sound qua wam? What connectors will we use? Like, let's start with here. Well, qua, would it be by itself or would it be connected? It would be by itself, that's correct. All right, so what about wa and ma? That's correct. Very simple, very easy. Once again, the connectors, they are just guiders, you know what I'm saying? And, usually, you know what I'm saying, when you see Lashawan written on the like a wall of a temple or something like that, it generally does not have a connector, you feel me? But this is just, guides, it's a giving us, better enunciation of the word, you feel me? It's, putting the conjugation together, you feel me? Like I said, I don't know if it has um, formal names for these, but this is what I call them to help us better remember. All right. Moving on to the Assyrian. All right. So you remember when I went over the letter Ma, right? And the different variances. So here is an example of how the proper placement of the letter Ma. So since Ma is going at the end of a word, it will be a closed cap. See what I'm saying? Instead of it being like this, like instead of it being this one, which goes anywhere but the end of a word, we have the one that is closed. All right. So we have our words set apart, which was Qadash, and we have another word, Qawam, which means to rise. All right. If y'all need to take a picture, feel free to. I'm gonna give y'all about 5 seconds, then we're gonna move on. These are words that we can use every day on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell, you even see Qadash in the Lord's Prayer. You feel me? All right. Once again, this is just, you know what I'm saying, the basics. I'm just getting our people more familiar, you know what I'm saying, more comfortable with our language. It's a slow walk, you feel me? It seems grueling at first, but, you know, it becomes more interesting later on down the line when we start getting into more meatier classes, you feel me? And, you know, start really putting stuff together. But that's, you know, that's further down the line. Right now, this is a beginner series. Moving on with that, our next word is call out. So real quick, this will be one word in our language, you feel me? But English is a very romantic tongue. Our language is very straightforward and brutish. Like for instance, in English, I would say, "Hey man, can you come over here and sit down?" That's English, right? But in our language, it'll be more brutish, like, "Hey woman, come sit." You feel me? So this right here, call out, it won't be two words, it will be one. I will show you. Call out in Hebrew is Quara'ah. Quara'ah. Yep, that's it. So right here, the reason why I write this out, this is just the English verbalization of the word. You feel me? So that way we know what exactly what to say. You feel me? I ain't just gonna give y'all straight Hebrew. That's later on down the line. You feel me? I'm gonna write out the Hebrew and have y'all translate it into the English verbalization. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. Quora. So how would I connect these? How would I put the word together? Would Quora be by itself or would it be connected? What's that? You sure? Quora. Quora. All right. So you say what was your answer? By itself. That's correct. What about ra and by itself? That they all are by themselves. You feel me? All right. All right. Excellent work. So our next word of the night is come near. Which in Hebrew is Korab. Quo be connected to anything, or would it be by itself? By itself is correct. All right. What about Ra and Ba? Are they connected or are they by themselves? Wrong. The word is Quorab, not Quoraba. So if I can, how do I get the sound Ba? Excuse me, Rob. How do I get that sound? That sound like it's together. That's right. That's correct. So these will be together, right? All right. I'm gonna give y'all about 5 seconds to write this down. You feel me?
If I may say,
Go right ahead.
like with a lot of words, it's kind of like, not kind of, but like how the English language, where you got prefixes and
Mm-hmm.
suffixes. So a lot of times, when you're reading these Hebrew words,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, that first, letter, it's not going to be just the word connected. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, the first word is going to be by itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then, it might be sometimes with a second, so like the second, the first letter is by itself, and then maybe the second letter is by itself, but most of the time in the middle, towards the end, the words are going to connect. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I was reading, you know what I'm saying, like Sabbath service, it became a lot easier when I would say the first, the first letter, pronounce
Mm-hmm.
the first letter,
Right.
and then focus on connecting the letters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
After that.
Absolutely. So you know what I'm saying? Like he just said, when we read Hebrew on Saturdays, you feel me, it's always a slow boogie. You feel me? Because we are getting familiar with putting the conjugations together. Now, once we move further in further classes, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna get to prefixes and suffixes. I might give y'all one right now. So according to this list right here, how do we say he moved? He came near. We would say hakorab, right? Ha would be the prefix. You put that at the beginning, and we get hakorab, which means he came near, right? But you know what I'm saying? That's down the line further. You feel me? Right now, we're just focusing on the word itself. We're gonna put phrases together after we are done with this series, right? All right. So everybody got it? All right. Oh sweet. So that's why y'all see this right here. This is for the classes where we go over prefixes and suffixes, and you know what I'm saying, that we put stuff together. I haven't taught that class in a minute. I have, brother. It's been about 3 years. It's been a while. All right, so moving on to our next word, which is meat. All right, so meat in Hebrew is korah. All right. So how do I put this together? Let me help you out. All right. So now that we know the letters that are used and how they sound, how would I put these together? Which one? So we always start right to left. Right, all right. So which one? Right? That's quote. All right. That's correct. Giving us the sound, giving us the conjugation qua ra. All right, moving on next. To see, right? Our next word is see. saying, our language sounds a bit exaggerated, you know what I'm saying, when you see these together, right? When you see like two A's, it's a little bit exaggerated, you feel me? So C is Ra'ah. How do we put this together? Let's find out. Oh, that's wrong. That's a Syrian. I'm tripping. All right. All right. So this is Ra'ah. How will we put this together? Now this is a little bit of a curveball, right? So start right here, Ra. What's that? No sweat. I'm gonna give y'all this one. So this will be by itself, and her that will be connected. You know what I'm saying? Generally, her is usually silent at the end of a word, unless you know how to really put the word together. This is silent. You feel me? All right, I'm gonna step to the side. Write these Syrian. All right. All right. So give you about 5 more seconds, then we're gonna move on. You ain't got stage fright, do you, brother? Oh, okay. What's that? I was talking to young brother right here. We don't see no sweat. All right, brother, step on up, man. Let's see what you know, man. Let's see what you know. All right, so our word is increase, which is rawum. I ain't gonna do me like that. All right, how would you put this together and give us rawum? I ain't gonna leave you hanging by yourself, man. I'm gonna give you guides, and I'm gonna walk with you. You go. You can teach now, brother.
Right down this together, right? Like this, right?
Everything right to left, right? So you start right to left.
But this is gonna be down, right?
Uh huh.
Put this together.
So you might want to put a little bit more under, right underneath it, like right up under the rub, cause you saying that's by itself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Oh, over this side.
All right. So you trying to put the rub by itself, kind of right underneath. Feel me?
Oh, on this side.
Yeah. You see how I got it?
Yeah.
Nah. It's right underneath. That's good. That's good enough. All right. So now, what and ma, are those connected or are they by themselves?
Connected.
They are connected. So what would you write to connect them? That is correct. You know what I'm saying? Get this brother a hand, man. You know what I'm saying? Now write it in Syrian.
Oh, look at that.
You got the whole chart right here.
Alright.
I wasn't gonna do it, but you know what I mean? Ruh. Right there, the third to last. You a trooper, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, you finna be coming up reading real soon. next letter, what? Cause this is the same chop we're gonna give brothers on Saturdays. You feel me?
Other than the same.
Hmm?
Other than the same.
It's gonna be the same chop, bro. Oh, you said it looks the same.
I don't know.
So these are the differences, right? This is war, and this is raw. They do look similar. You feel me? But the way they are written and the way they are shaped, the length of them are they are very much so different. You feel me? Like this is more of a seven, and this is more of a I don't know, like a cane almost.
Beautiful, man.
Might want to
What's
put
it called over?
the ruh and the wah closer together. You know what I'm saying? That's good. All right, last month. So this is why I called you up. Let's see if you know. You know what I'm saying? If I explained it well, Lord allow you know which variant of month to use. God damn. So
Besides,
which one goes at the end of a word, and which one goes anywhere but?
I don't remember.
It goes where?
At the end of a word.
That's correct.
And I close it too.
Mm-hmm. And that's how you do that, brother. Get that brother a hand, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. This is not an easy thing. You feel me? Coming back to our language is never an easy thing, especially writing it out, brother. It ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of squiggly lines and things that look alike. You feel me? But yeah, you did an excellent job, brother. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what we at. All right, so as you can see, the brother translated the paleo into the Assyrian. You know what I'm saying? That's a very heavy thing. So our word is increase, which is rawam in the Hebrew, written both in the paleo and Assyrian. Right? All right. So moving on to our last word of the night. Which is pursue. Oh, I'm about to say, man, I love pursue in Hebrew is radap. All right, I'm gonna just give y'all this one for time's sake. All right. So this is our word, pursue, which is radap in the Hebrew, written both in the Paleo and the Syrian. You understand? And I'm gonna give y'all a couple more seconds, and we're gonna clip class. All right, with that, we're gonna give a courteous salute to the brothers. Yahweh Shem Shalom to the brothers and to the sisters. Yahweh Shem Shalom.